On Tuesday, August 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, crown your champion in August, or parlay your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel. Play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen. I love talking to creative people about their journeys. I think art and creativity make the tough times bearable. And boy, are we living through those now. But sometimes I'll go see a movie or a show or read something and it will make it okay. I can get through the next day. So I like to lift up the people that do that. And today my guest is Jeff Hiller, Emmy nominee Jeff Hiller. He plays Joel on Somebody Somewhere, which finished its run recently. It did 3 wonderful seasons on HBO. I love that show. It was so warm and humane, and the depiction of friendship. Friendships are my big theme. I love it. He's also the author of a book called Actress of a Certain Age. It's a memoir. It tells the story of how he got from growing up a bullied kid in Texas to being on this HBO show. And there's lots of woo-woo stuff in it, like dream boards and gratitude lists. And, I'm all about that stuff. So I really enjoyed talking to Jeff. But before we get to the interview, I want to remind you that this podcast is my thing, and I love doing it, but I don't make a ton of money from it. But there are ways you can support it. You could go to DennisAnyone.net, leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. I also have a Patreon and a Substack called Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. It's a second episode that I do every week, usually on Sundays. And I talk about pop culture and creativity, and I end with a little happiness chunk every month because I'm very interested in the science of happiness. What makes people happy? What can we do when we're going through it to make our lives a little bit better? How can we be resilient? And I always have these little experiences and these things that I talk about, and that's part of that. However, if you joined on Patreon, and I really appreciate it if you did, I have not gotten paid through Patreon since I started it. You guys, it's been that kind of a month. Let's face it. And I'm trying to solve that, but so I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to keep doing it, but I got to get to the bottom of that. The other thing is happening is I have great news. There's a thing called the Podcast Awards, and I got nominated for Best LGBTQ Podcast. So thank you to everyone out there who voted. There was a nomination process, and now for the final voting, a select number of people from that initial voting roster will get emails saying you get to vote for the final thing. I don't think it's everybody. I know at least one person that voted for me that got that email. So if you did get that email, go vote for me. I appreciate it. And also vote for my friend Romaine Patterson, who's up for two awards for her health and sexuality show, The Dildo Whisperer. So anyway, I got nominated. So yeah. It's an honor just to be nominated. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that was a good bit of news during a dumpster fire of a year. As you can see, I'm still struggling with my voice a little bit, but we're hanging in. The other thing you can do is become a subscriber to DNR Studios. I'm a part of a group of shows under the crazy Derek and Romaine podcast family. And for a monthly fee, you get my show early, and you get all these other great shows. So join the party at dnrstudios.com. All right, here now is my interview with Jeff Hiller, author of Actress of a Certain Age. Joining me now via Zoom from New York City, it's Jeff Hiller, the actor from Somebody Somewhere and the author of the book Actress of a Certain Age and recent Emmy nominee. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very shocking.
I relate to your journey in a lot of ways because I've been on this road for a long time with some ups and downs. And I think if I got nominated for something like that, my strategy would be enjoy every second of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't take a minute for granted. talk to everyone, go to the luncheon, help clean up at the luncheon. Like, I am going to milk this, not for opportunistic reasons, but for experiential reasons. I think I would try to be present and really like savor it. So what is your strategy?
I mean, that's brilliant advice. And that's really all I can do, is I have no control over this. It's not like, and also I know it's such a hack cliche to say this, but it really is a really big deal just to be nominated.
Yeah. I also think I wouldn't care that much if I won, honest to God.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've thought about that too. Cause let's be honest, I'm not going to win,
Who do you think is going to win? I haven't looked at your category. Is there somebody that's like,
Harrison Ford is in it.
But he gets snubbed sometimes. You'd be surprised. Like there's sometimes anyway. Yeah.
Well, I think also, Saul Saperstein, Ike Barinholtz is in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows? But my point is, it doesn't, I know that like on the night, like when they're reading it, I will, just because I am very competitive, I know I'll be like, oh no, I really want to win it.
Yeah, why not? You're there.
But I think now I'm fully aware now, and I have logic to know that that's not it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just like, how fun. And like, I'm going to fly to LA and somebody else is going to pay for it. How great.
I would try to get Tom Ford to dress me, but then I would go down the list after the, what's the strategy in terms of, what you're going to wear?
Let's just say Tom Ford's not going to dress me, okay?
No, I'm saying that's where I start, and then I just work my way.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love any of those. I think I'm going to have to pay for some clothing. And that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay. I'm going to wear something very fun, and it's going to be great.
And Bridget is also nominated as a writer, so you guys get to experience this together.
Yes.
Do you guys have a plan? Were you going in a limo together? Is it an In-N-Out Burger thing, or like?
There's not a lot of like In-N-Out Burger.
A lot of people go to In-N-Out Burger after award shows in LA. It's the hot thing.
How does everybody know these things? I don't know anything.
I think it was Paul Giamatti that did that one year after the Oscars. And it became a thing.
Like how you just said the thing about the luncheon. Somebody else was like, oh yeah, you'll meet all these people at the luncheon. I was like, I didn't even know there was a luncheon.
It might not be. That's an Oscar thing, but it feels like there should be one for the Emmys.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I haven't heard any of these things. Yeah. I know that I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
On September 14th, and that's it.
Yeah, I love it. Are you bringing your husband? Who's coming?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm bringing my husband, and his birthday's September 15th, so it's going to be like a fun birthday party.
Amazing.
Where I get all the attention.
Yes. But, the show finished after 3 seasons, and you write about that in the book, like the sort of sadness that it's over. But then you get this jolt of like, oh, wait, this is still kind of happening in a way, right? Was there that feeling of like, oh, I don't have to quite say goodbye yet to this?
Yeah, and it feels like, I don't know, not closure as much as like, maybe it is closure. It's a final celebration or something that we get to do. Yeah, it does feel that way, and I am not putting on false modesty. I'm not posturing. I absolutely did not expect it. I've talked to so many podcast people who have been like, I wasn't even tracking you in my top 20. Everyone is surprised. I'm not saying I'm not worthy of it. I'm not saying I'm a bad actor, but like the show has not been recognized in this way at all. So there was I think our greatest hope was that Bridget would get nominated as Best Actress. And I mean, like, HBO wasn't even like sending me out to do interviews or anything. Like nobody expected it. It was just not on anyone's radar. So it is a huge surprise. It's exciting and delicious and surprising and wildly fun. And I'm just sort of like, I'm just on the ride. I got kind of like, this is all just icing on the cake.
Well, I'm really happy for you, and I'm a fan of the show. I've loved it since the beginning. And I went back and watched some episodes. You have a number of scenes where you're reacting to somebody singing to you. And it's so emotional. I think, and knowing that you care for the people involved, music brings up something emotional. Like those scenes, I could see there's the version where I dissolve into complete tears, and there's the version where I keep it together. Can you talk to me about those scenes? Because it's a subtle thing, and the emotions almost come up. Music brings things up, right?
Yes, it absolutely does. I mean, that's why musical theater exists.
Right.
When you can't contain the emotion anymore, you move into the music, and and so I think it works the other way too. And it's funny that you say like there are two versions: one where you're like a puddle of tears, and one where you're like kind of fighting it. And I think a lot of times, the first choice is to go puddle of tears.
Well, I think it seems like one of those things where the emotions are right there to access. It's not hard to access. They just are there. So it's how much, what to do,
Yeah. And we would often try different things, and it almost always was better when it was, doing like, the whole thing is that the show is like truthful. We don't have jokes. The laughter comes from the way that you would laugh with your friend versus like set up and joke delivery or whatever. And I think that's true of the emotions too. You have to, because when you really are overcome with emotions, you never just let yourself go. You're always like embarrassed and trying to fight it. And so that just always made the most sense. And that's what we did. Yeah. And worked well.
Yeah. Beautiful. I grew up in a small town in Arizona. So it wasn't the same geographic world, but it had a small town feel to it where we used to like call each other up and go, do you want to go for a Coke? And that meant somebody picked up the other person and you drove around town, and then you went and got a Coke at like Sonic or somewhere. And you would drive laps. Like in LA, you don't want to drive any more than you absolutely have to. In my hometown, you would drive around. Do you hear from people in those communities that feel like, oh, this was our show, this was for us? Have you heard from those kind of folks?
Absolutely. I mean, and it is a show for basically, and it's not just the Midwest. We use Kansas, but what we found is that the more specificity that a show has, it's oddly more relatable, generally, than it is when you're like just trying to do broad strokes so that everybody's on board. Right. And people feel seen by the show in a way that no other work that I've done. It's never been. I mean, I've also never been like a main character like this either, so that's probably a big part of it too. But I think that so much, because I grew up in Texas, also different from Kansas, and I wasn't even in that small of a town. But there's just something that's very different culturally about being not in one of these major cities on the coast that. You never really see on TV because the people who create TV are living in these major cities on the coasts. So, it's like the car scenes are so important because that is where a lot of your communication happens when you're living in the Midwest. You always have a designated driver, or you say like, I don't want to park. Will you want to pick me up? Or like, I don't want to get there alone. Can I get there with you? And so you drive together. And that's also the time, like Bridget really talks really eloquently and beautifully about how those scenes were perfect between Joel and Sam. They could be more intimate in a car. All of the big scenes happen in the car. And it's because, Sam doesn't have to make eye contact with Joel.
You don't have to look at each other. You can be together intimately and kind of have a little bit of space where you're not
exactly.
there.
Yeah. Which for her and that character was so important because she couldn't go there yet.
When I go home, the pace of everything slows down. Like time seems to go slower. Did it feel that way when you were shooting there? Or is it because it's a set, things are fast and time is money? Or did it feel like a different pace?
Time was a lot of money on this. So it was pretty fast paced. Yeah. But I think just being in the suburbs of Chicago, I mean, we were like in the deep suburbs of Chicago. And so you just have that different vibe where you're like, you go to a drive-through, or you on the weekend, it was just like, we sit around. Yeah. It wasn't so hectic and fast-paced. It wasn't like, I've got to do this, and then I got to get on a podcast, and then I got to, it was a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you have experienced this different if the show had happened to you in your 20s or 30s? If it had happened to you younger?
I think that's a great question. And of course, I don't really know. But I think not just for me, but for everyone in the cast, it was just so much more meaningful. Like no one was complaining. No, you know, normally they say, how do you get an actor to complain? Give him a job. Nobody was doing that here. We were all like, I cannot believe this is happening. I cannot believe we are doing this together. Yeah. I cannot believe we get to say these words and have an inner life. Like I was like the kind of actor that I didn't have character names. I played professions, you know, I just played waiter or florist or whatever, flight attendant. And so it was so meaningful to all of us. I mean, and I talk about that in the book too. Like Mary Catherine had been on Broadway and had like this incredible Broadway career. But at the time of this show, she was living in Virginia, raising her son. And Murray was like doing clubs and like getting $10 for it. And all of us, it was like this humongous deal, and none of us were blind to it. And I think in your 20s, if that happens, you're like, yeah, this will just keep happening forever.
Yeah, you appreciate it a lot more. I'm a dancer as well as doing this other stuff, and I left it for a long time, but then I got an agent recently. Long story short, I booked a commercial this summer. Ooh. The kind of thing that I never could have gotten when I was really pursuing it. But I went there and I just, like you said, like I was just like, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to listen. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to complain. I was very cognizant of how I behaved and interacted, and grateful. And like, it's just different when you've, I don't know, been around for a long time and kind of kicking around and wondering if you'll ever get opportunities and stuff like that.
Well, because I went to your website and you have that great story about Xanadu.
Thank you.
Gene Kelly.
Thank you for checking that out. My listeners must be so tired of hearing about Xanadu. We're doing a 45th anniversary screening this weekend. I've got this group of friends. We're called the Xana Crew. It's ridiculous. But during, Trump 2.0, you grab the joy where you can find it. But yeah, I say that thing about, what is it that I say? But basically it's like, I never really understood. When I was younger, I didn't understand why Michael Beck's character, who's an artist, would be like, sure, let's open a roller disco. But after kicking around in entertainment and media for so long and having to pivot so many times, if some old guy came around and said, hey, kid, you want to open a roller disco? I would be all over it, because 100%. I question what I'm doing a lot and my choices.
I know. Or like when somebody says, what attracted you to the role? And you're like, they cast me. I don't have choices. I am chosen. That is it.
But here's the thing. I never saw another path. I never saw like, there's that architecture school thing calling me, or my uncle saying, hey, come and work in this business. Did you ever see another thing?
Well, I talk about this in the book too. So sorry to repeat stuff. If you read the book,
it.
But
this is I talk about.
I thought, I kept thinking this is irresponsible because I was in debt and I was turning 40. When I turned 40, it was like, why am I still doing this? It's never going to happen.
Right.
There's no such thing as a middle-aged ingenue. And I kept thinking I was irresponsible. And so I did look into like going to grad school or trying to find a different job or something like that. But in the end, I researched it so half-heartedly because it's my biggest joy. And if I've already sacrificed 25 years of my life to it, I'm not going to give up now.
Right.
I want to keep going. And because also I still had hope.
Yeah.
And I think that is so beautiful that I still had hope. And I mean, you could look at it as like this poor delusional middle-aged queen.
That's going to be the title quote from this episode. I'm joking.
It's fine. I agree with that.
Right.
But like, I think probably people did look at me and think like, oh, that's so pitiful that you're still doing that. And I now look back and think like, how beautiful that I still had hope and that I was still striving to do the thing I love to do.
I have a friend that whenever I see this person, they don't live here, but I see them once or twice every few years. Anyway, they always I always feel this pang of like, they wish they had gone for it more and played it less safe.
Yeah.
And they look at my life and they're like, wow, you know, I could feel it. This sort of feeling. And then hopefully they pick up the check, because I'm usually like struggling. But it is
and then they'll let you do your laundry at their house.
Exactly. I don't have that thing of, gosh, I wish I had gone for it. I don't have that at all.
Yeah.
But it's a thing.
And people do that. I mean, people always tell me like, I can't believe you really went for it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that it comes from that. Now, there's another side too. It's like you said, like we need them to pick up the check. Even now, after I was on a TV show, it's like, I can't afford to buy a house, you know? It was Duplass Brothers. You know, it's a smaller scale thing. Hopefully I'll keep going and be able to eventually. But like, I don't have kids. I don't have, you know, I don't have the life that I maybe would have had I played it safe, but I have what I have, and I want to feel grateful for what I have. And I hope that they feel grateful for what they have too.
And you've put something out into the world that has made it better for people. You've enriched, you've left something behind. Like there was this quote that I saw that sort of said, you know, it feels like we've all sort of divided between creators and consumers. Like, and which one do you want to be in a way? And, yeah, you've created something. When you got cast and it was real and it was happening, did you bring that same attitude of, wow, I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of this. I'm going to savor every moment. I get to have these scenes. I get to play out all of these different nuances. I'm sure you went into it with like not taking it for granted because of your journey. Yeah,
and we did the pilot, and you know, there's no guarantee when you do the pilot. There's no guarantee you're going to make it to series. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. And then on the last day, I wept
on the last day of the pilot, because you're like, this is what I've always wanted. It is real. It can happen.
Yeah. And then I wept the last day of shooting season 1, because I thought, you know, we might not get a season 2. Yeah. And I cried and cried and cried. And, you know, I think first of all, I think that's okay. Also, I will say that like we shot the pilot in October of 2019, and then we had 18 months because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We didn't start shooting until June of 2021. Yeah. So I wasn't feeling full gratitude that entire time.
No, you were like, did that even happen? Like, what was happening? Did I dream that?
And I was so frustrated because we got picked up on like March 3rd, 2020. And so I'm not just this beacon of gratitude, but once you're there and you're actually doing it, it's just so exciting. Yeah. But there's a lot of time when you're
you're getting to do the thing.
Happen.
You're getting to do the thing. It's not about the glory or the whatever. You get to do the thing. Yeah. And you got to do the thing a lot. Not enough for some viewers. We want more, but we're glad about that. I want to talk about the book. There's woo-woo stuff in the book, and I'm all about woo-woo stuff. You write about Joel's vision board in the show. He has a vision board, but you also are no stranger to it. I am so out of control with my dream boarding. It's literally like I'll do one at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, oh, this needs updating. And I have a whole process. I do a Google image thing. It's not. I think it's effective and I enjoy it, and it makes you feel excited about your life. But talk to me about that. Do you still have one? Do you do it?
I do still do it. I moved more into I've only done like a vision board, like with the actual like pictures and stuff. Right. I've only done that like twice.
Right.
But on one of them, I had a Vitamix, and it was the Vitamix that heats up to make soup, which is what Joel has on his vision board. And I did it 4 years prior.
And the writers didn't know this?
No. I mean, is that crazy?
You and Joel had the same Vitamix on your dream board?
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
So wild. Did you get it?
Yeah, my mom got it for me for Christmas before she died.
That's amazing. And does it deliver? Is it just everything? Those Vitamixes are not fucking around. I worked at Craig Barrel for a while.
We just made gazpacho this morning.
And it's amazing. You and Joel had the same Vitamix from it. I love that. Yeah. And you write about having a theme word for the year.
I still do.
I do that too. I have a coach and we do it every year. What's your theme for this year?
This year was mental health.
I like it.
Yeah. And it was more of a personal thing than a career thing, but also like living in gratitude, is a huge thing. And also I think so much of my life has been focused exclusively on career in a way that I think is, neglectful of my personal life too. And so I was trying to be more balanced in that sense. And also, I'm in therapy and trying to work on that.
Well,
kind of
I
stuff
think
too.
when we're younger and we look at the people we admire that are working, it feels like they're at a certain level and they're always going to be there. And then you get older and you realize, oh, so-and-so hasn't done anything in a while. And they were the shit for a while.
Yeah.
Like they were everything. And who knows what's going on with their life. But the thing is, you got to get that other life stuff going, because even if you're a major success, nothing's forever. Like,
exactly. And then you have a global pandemic and you're just sitting in your house alone.
Yeah. I'm just constantly trying to figure out how to live. I have a theme for the year. It is Pocket Full of Miracles. Because I used to pick themes that were very based in what other people were going to do. Like I had one that was like in demand or wanted, but it required other people to get on board. And I found that wasn't effective. I needed something on my person where I control it all. And so I have a pocket full of miracles. If you want one, I have a few extras, but
I love it.
Yeah, no, but that's my theme.
I try to choose just one word.
Yeah,
like create was my first one. Yeah. Because I wanted to create instead of consume. And that was really helpful to me because previously I'd just been an actor and I wanted to write and stuff like that. And then like the year I wrote the book, my word was story. And it was just like, I want to share stories. Yeah. And then like I've had other words that are like, well, in 2020, I did choose the word no because I wanted to set some boundaries.
I love it. I think that's good.
That was a bad idea.
Yeah, you caused the pandemic with your word.
I did. I should have said boundaries.
Yeah. That's crazy. So writing the book, what was hard about it? What surprised you once you dived in? And you're like, oh.
Well, a lot of the stuff that was hard about it was like dumb stuff. Like I had to get all of the legal permissions for the photos, and I found that very daunting.
Yeah.
I had like publicizing it. I had to like ask every famous person I know if I could give them a book, and they would like
the blurbs. Getting the blurb is the worst.
The blurbs. Oh, the blurbs.
I've had a couple of books, and I was so bad at getting blurbs that the first time I had a book, I only had two, but anyway, we just put all of all the famous people mentioned in the book. We just listed them in a big long list because it was set in LA, and so there was all these randos in it, and so that was the back of the book and no blurbs. But yeah, I don't know how effective they are, but it is sort of like, ugh. It's like,
well, after I had made this big ask for my blurb, I was with Simon & Schuster, and like after I had done all these asks to, fancy people for the blurbs, fancy people that I had a connection to. I didn't do any strangers or anything like that, which sometimes I think that's a little weird. But I saw this article in New York Magazine about my publisher, Simon & Schuster, saying blurbs don't do anything and we're going to get rid of them. And I was like,
now a warning. Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah. Books are fun. What have you learned promoting it, doing readings, talking to people? What has it been like to be out there with your own story?
Well, it's really been very cathartic to write. I wrote about being bullied as a kid, and I found that to be like super cathartic. I gave myself a lot of like sympathy and love. And so many people have not come out of the woodwork. They're like my friends who I came up with who are like, I'm reading this book and thinking to myself, you were the person that had it all together and you worked all the time. And here reading your books, you saying like you didn't work all the time. And they're telling me this and I'm like, but you do work all the time. And they're like, I don't work all the time. And it's all about perception and about like I might get 2 guest stars in 1 year. And so to you, you're like, you work all the time. I saw you on 2 different shows. but that was 2 days of work in a year.
Right.
And so it doesn't feel like you're working that much. And so I think that has been super big. And also I just really, I've loved interacting with people.
Yeah.
Because I've never had fans before. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm someone who's like, my fan base is, I don't know. I didn't know I had a fan base. And so, so many people have come up.
So people are standing in line to get their book signed, and you're like, yeah.
Yes. And they're like, thank you for somebody somewhere. Thank you for Joel. And then people who've read the book are constantly DMing me saying like, I loved this book. This book meant so much to me. And there's not one story that everybody says, oh, this is like, from the whole book, there's someone who's like, somebody just yesterday was like, I loved how you said, aren't you just Dorothy Parker? I say that too. And I was like, really? And then somebody else was like, I also fainted in health class when I was in sex ed. And it was like, it's crazy. It just is a real unifying thing. And also it's a book that's about hope and kindness and community. And we're in this time of not that. Yeah. And it feels good to be putting that out into this toxic fire.
I know,
world.
this dumpster fire of a year. You write that comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. And so when you're looking at other people's careers and how they're doing and what they look like on Instagram and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And yet you also kind of cite other memoirs. And so it's kind of like you say comparison is the thief of joy and that you didn't really catch this break until an age younger than me. And so even as I'm reading you say that, I'm like comparing, well, I got 10 years on him, so nothing's ever going to happen for me. Like, it really is hard not to keep sometimes not giving up feels like a full-time job. And with no benefits and it doesn't pay. I know that landed hard. I know, right? But it does
land hard.
I don't mean that just in terms of professionally, but in this world right now that we're living in. So it's a lot.
100%.
I
did all of that. I named every chapter after a memoir and then highlighted their age when they got their quote unquote big break.
Yeah.
I did that because I always do that in my head.
Right. You're doing it
and
anyway.
It's absolutely meaningless.
Doesn't matter.
And it doesn't do anything. And all it does is make you crazy. It doesn't help anything.
Right.
And it's not like it's going to turn you off. It's not going to make you not try and be a success or try and be whatever.
Right.
I think the bigger thing is defining what our success is for ourselves, like what you were talking about. Like, I'm a creator. I'm so proud of being a creator. Yeah.
It doesn't matter necessarily what you get for it. It's what you're doing. I cried multiple times during your book, but the story about the mother at the end, after she passed away, and you find something that you didn't know that she had saved. Can you tell a little about that story? Because I think I saw a movie recently where the mother was so in tune with her gay son, but nothing had been spoken yet. And I think mothers have that, right?
Yeah, totally.
And
see, this is so funny. No one else has ever brought this up, and all of the press I've done.
Oh wow!
I love that you connected to that. She found a gay rag from when we visited New York City in 1989. She'd saved the paper that tells you where the bars are and stuff. And
but you weren't out yet.
Bag.
You weren't out.
I was 13.
You were 13. You weren't out yet. You were visiting New York.
Yeah. And
you could tell that it was gay pride because there were hot guys with sneakers and like thick socks on the train. And
one of them had an overalls with no shirt.
Oh, so Boys in the Band, Twink, whatever. And you write about feeling like kind of repulsed by them. Like you didn't want any of their stuff to get on you because you knew deep down it was part of it. And your mother was warm and loving to them. And she saved like programs from the theater that you saw that year. And she saved the Gay Pride newspaper from New York.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And it was this incredible sign.
You know,
my sisters always talking about
away.
signs. Yeah. And I found it on the 50th anniversary, and it was celebrating the 30th anniversary.
Of Stonewall. And you found it on the 50th anniversary of Stonewall?
Well, it was a few months before.
It's the same year. It's the same year. We'll take what we could get, Joel. I called you Joel. Notice I called you Joel. Do people call you Joel in real life? Do people just, hey, Joel? Yeah. No, it's close enough to your name. It says the same letters. But that story was so, when you come upon it, it must have been just like, Oh my God, like very moving and very like, oh, connecting dots, almost like a Sixth Sense thing of like, oh my God, she always connected to that. Yeah. And you found it after she'd passed.
Yeah. And, you know, I had come out to her since then, and she was very accepting.
Right. Wonderful. You were raised quite religiously, but it was a kind of Christianity that I felt wasn't the fire and brimstone, super guilt trippy. It was different. What part of that has stayed with you? Because I was raised Mormon, and there's a bit of, I don't practice anymore, and there's some fucked up stuff around that religion, but there is a community part of it. There's a decency part of it. There's things that I've taken for sure.
Yeah. And my church really led with, being there for other people.
Right.
Like I just saw this conservative activist. She's a Christian, and she wrote a book called Toxic Empathy, all about how the left has co-opted empathy to make good Christian folks do bad things like give food to people who are hungry. Oof. And I didn't read her book. I just read a review of it in the New York Times. And I was so horrified because for me and my mom especially, Christianity was about helping other people. It was about being there for other people. It was about feeding people who were hungry. It was about helping people who couldn't pay their rent. It was about being there. And I didn't even realize the whole gay thing was like a thing until I was coming out. And I was like, oh, you don't like gay people? I mean, it's crazy.
You were part of a church and didn't feel that for years is quite surprising.
It was the only place I was accepted because I was so bullied at school. Yeah. And even kids who were mean to me at school had to be nice to me at church. And so it was like a place of tenderness. It was a safe place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. You went to Namibia and did like a I don't know.
It was just study abroad. It wasn't
study abroad. But
it wasn't like a church thing.
Yeah. How did it change you? You were there for several months, right?
Yeah, I was there for a semester, a little over a semester. Yeah,
you know, it was
life changing.
Yeah, when I was younger, I worked on cruise ships, and it opened up the world to me in a way that, like, oh, there's a whole big world and all these different people that are so different and yet the same. Like, how did it change your outlook on life?
That's why they don't want you to travel. That's why the Chinese government now is saying Chinese people shouldn't travel. And it's because they don't want you to go and learn stuff and see that person over there is not an enemy. That person over there is a human just like you who also has, you know, giggles and
wants the same things.
Yeah, exactly. And wants a good life and has kids and is sweet. And also, I went to Namibia, which had just come out from under apartheid rule. And so it really like made me realize how pervasive racism is, how awful, totalitarianism is.
When somebody's able to other somebody else.
Exactly.
What a negative effect it has on everything. Yeah. What a cool thing though, to be able to do. You write in the book that you like auditioning. You're one of the few actors that I've ever heard say that. And you were like, you get to act. You get to act. Is that your attitude generally pretty much? Or does it depend on the audition or?
Sometimes the in-person auditions would get scary. Yeah. But not even it's not being in the audition room that was scary to me. It was being in the waiting room.
Yeah.
With other people who were wearing outfits that kind of looked like yours and comparing and despairing.
Comparing and despairing, yeah.
Yeah. But for so many years, I would get an audition every 2 or 3 months. And I think you can either look at that as like, oh crap, I've got an audition and I'm so scared to do it. Or you can be like, yes, I got an audition. Yeah. That's more hope. That's more hope for me. That I can finally, because you can't get something without an audition.
You have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The commercial that I told you, the commercial I mentioned that I got, that I did a self-tape for it. I didn't feel great about it. You know, it was in the garage. It was sweaty. The lighting, it was a mess, and I was like, fuck it, I'll send it in. And I got it. And it was such a lesson in just do it and try and bring your best and let it go. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was such a lesson in You never know, right? So you have an opportunity.
And you're protecting yourself from something, but what you're protecting yourself from is opportunity.
Yeah, you're protecting yourself from opportunity. That is really deep. Yeah. You did a lot of improv. You love it. You've taught it. You've done it. I never was drawn to it. And I always sort of wondered, what am I missing? Like what, I think I was afraid of looking stupid or I feel like I have good, quick wit storytelling instincts, but I'm not great with voices or, you know what I mean? Like I think I was never drawn to it, but I think my sense is that you develop skills doing that help you in the world. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
I think that's why I liked auditioning. If I can go out on a stage with no script and have a 30-minute long show, I'm going to be fine in this audition room.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there a high that came with improv when it went well?
Yes. And I'm sort of an imperfectionist. So you might be not that.
Right.
And so for you, improv would be like, cause I've taught so much improv that I know that like, it's not for everybody. Like there are some people who are like, I like to prepare.
Right.
Not my thing. So for me, it was a great outlet to be able to talk. I mean, I think I think I spent too much time doing improv. I probably should have started doing stand-up a lot earlier and stuff, but I loved it. And I find that it is my greatest tool. That's why I'm good at acting. That's why Somebody Somewhere happened, because I was able to just be in the moment and be present with Bridget, and we would improvise, and it wasn't like improvising like to be outrageous. It was improvising just to be in the moment and be in the scene. And that came from 25 years of being at the UCB. Now, Bridget could do it, and she didn't do that. So I don't know.
You never know, but you feel like
maybe you don't need it.
Does it help you with life generally? Like when things don't go well, or does it help you? Yeah. I don't know. Is there a way of thinking about things that's helped you with?
Yeah. I mean, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler did books, and they both talk about improv, and they say that too. It's like you have this thing where you say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And you're able to sort of dump it and move on when things aren't working. And I think that's true of my personal life too.
That's interesting. Like, okay, we tried that, didn't work, on to the next. That's interesting. You're based in New York, and you write a lot about New York in there, but you have spent a little time in LA, right? Or some years?
Yeah, I lived there from 2011 to 2015.
What was it like? What was your LA thing like? Where did you hang out?
I liked LA.
Where did you do? Did you do UCB?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did it. It was like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. I was an East Sider.
Right. Silver Lake, like that area.
Hiked in Griffith Park every day. I was not a Runyon or a Fryman girl. I was a Griffith Park girl. And I loved going to Targets, because this is back where you could still go to Target, and they were nice and air conditioned and big. The Targets in New York are very tiny.
Yeah. You like a big Target. You know what strikes me is like this right-wing swing has even ruined Target. Target was always cool. No. Target was never not cool. It was always kind of cool and like inviting, and I love Target for decades.
I know.
I mean,
such a bummer. I loved Target.
Yeah, the wreckage from this period. I mean, we're going to be processing it forever. You write some dating tips in the book. Never let them come to your improv show.
I stand by that.
Yeah, I have friends that do drag who's like, never let them see you in drag. And it was like, it runs the risk of like turning them off a little bit sexually. If you're laying on the floor pretending to be bacon.
Yeah.
It's not.
Also, if they don't think things are funny, that you think are objectively funny,
that's
maybe
rough.
You need to get to that sooner rather than later. But I don't know.
How long before your husband saw you in an improv show?
Oof. Several months. Many months. Yeah.
All right. That's good.
Maybe even 6 months.
You're like, okay, you were ready. We're ready to cross that threshold.
Yeah.
One of your other dating tips is this: if you want to have sex on the first date, go for it. I agree with this, and so does Candace Bushnell, because I just read this piece about her. She's writing about life in the Hamptons and stuff like that. And when you're younger, I think you think, well, for me, I was a little prudy, and it was the AIDS era and all of that, and I wasn't very confident. And I remember, and
we grew up religious,
right? All of that stuff, and it really I never kind of got the memo around all of that in a way that's satisfying to me or anyone else. But when you're younger, you're like, you date them, and then you'll see them again in a week, and then you could decide or whatever. Something about either getting older or the era we're living in. You've got to fuck them right then because they're going to vaporize. They're going to get a disease or disappear or move away. Like, it just feels like it's just do it when they're in the room.
Right.
That's
and I feel like so many times you think like, oh, if I have sex with you, you won't be interested anymore, but they're probably still not going to be interested anymore. And
all of those calculations.
Might as well have sex.
Yes, all of those calculations when I was young. And Candace Bushnell, who had a 3-date rule, was like, yeah, no. All bets are off. I think it's true. Just like if they're in the room, do it.
I think you can still have boundaries around what type of sex you have.
Sure.
And if you don't want to have sex, you don't have to.
Right. I agree. There are a few names of people that popped up in your book that I know a little bit or like, oh, I know that guy or whatever. People in your writing group that I think I've had on the podcast. Brian Sloan.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Katie Dippold, you work with. Yeah. I only worked with her for a little bit of time. She was a writer on the Big Gay Sketch Show the season that I worked on it. But
Katie Dippold?
For just a few months. She came in, but here's what I remember about her, and you may back this up, because I think she does pranky things in your book. Yeah. She was doing this thing at the time where she would take pictures of people, but it was actually a video. And so, you thought it was a picture, and it just amused her to no end. And I always think about that. Like you would think it's a picture and it's a video. And I don't know.
She did that to me.
She did it to you. So it's a thing. Yeah. Pranky. All right. So I was wondering I think it's the same person. So clearly it is. You write about knowing Bridget a little bit before you got the job. She added your email address and reached out to you personally, but not knowing her super well. Was there a moment early on where you felt like, oh, we connect. This is real. Like we've got something here.
Yeah. When we were, right away, kind of shooting the pilot, it was like, oh, this works really well. We shot the first thing we shot was, God, what was the first thing we shot? I don't remember exactly, but right away it was like, oh, we work. Even in the audition, they were like, and you can go off script a little bit, and we did. But a lot of times when people improvise off script, they go too far or they don't do anything. And we just automatically did added fun things, found different things in the character, but also got across the point of the scene. And I think that is really, really rare. Right.
You had the same amount of how much to fiddle and how much to not.
Exactly.
You were on the same page with that. And I think in a scene that's what you need. That makes the magic, I would think.
Yeah, exactly.
You write about some of the gay movies that you saw when you were, sort of coming to terms and coming out. And you mentioned The Object of My Affection with Paul Rudd. Mm-hmm. I haven't thought about that movie in a very long time. And when I read that, I was like, I had this flashback. I think I saw a press screening of it when I was doing a lot of magazine journalism in the 90s. And there was something about it, like the fact that the gay guy was the main character, and they show, and there was a shot of Paul Rudd, and I was like, oh my God, we get close-ups. Like, we're getting close-ups. We never get close-ups. And
he's in a towel.
And I just remember sobbing all the way to the car. And then I drove to interview Lisa Kudrow for Movie Line that day. I remember the same day because Aniston was in the movie, and I told Lisa that I did it. But I cried in the car. There was something about that movie that I felt so seen for the first time or something. Yeah. But you mentioned that, and I hadn't thought about that movie in a very long time.
That movie was huge. Also, he just isn't. He's not the butt of a joke, and he's not stupid or silly, and he is a main character.
Yes.
He is played by a straight actor.
I know. That's what's so funny about it. At the time, it felt like the ultimate thing. And I'm like, well, asterisk, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. It is interesting how much things have changed for gay performers and portrayals and things like that. in positive ways and then also negative ways, whereas a lot of these great gay movies don't ever come to theaters or they're harder to find. And back in the day, you know, there would be a trick or something that would be at the Laemmle for 2 months.
Trick.
I know, right? What have you observed out there in the business in terms of gay actors, gay characters, any of that stuff? Or do you just do your thing and not worry about it? Or do you notice this feels different than it did 5 years ago?
I do think, I think just the culture is so different than it was before. And I mean, at this point, as like a white gay man, you're not even really a diversity person anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's like, and I credit Will and Grace with that. Like, I think once people saw Will and Grace and were like, oh, now I know a gay person, it made it so different. I think that the reason that trans people are so under attack right now is because they are demanding rights, but most of the people in America do not know a trans person. Right. And so they think trans people are others. And
whereas gay people kind of got brought into the tent a lot more. And that's interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I think you're right. You worked in the Ryan Murphy universe with American Horror Story. Playing a serial killer. What was that like?
So great.
Was it fun? Was it twisted?
Yes.
Was it like
all of it? All of it.
All of it.
One time Ryan came on set and I was wearing this apron and he's like, "This apron's okay, but instead of the buckles, it should be cockrings." And I was like, "That is the most Ryan Murphy thing I've ever heard."
That's amazing. I like it. And he says it in that droll sort of way, where there's somebody behind him with a clipboard, scrawling.
And I have to tell you, when they gave me the new apron, I was like, oh, this is way better.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Did you get to keep the apron? Maybe it's an Emmy thing. Maybe there's no, you didn't get to keep it.
No, I didn't get to keep anything. I'm way too low on the call sheet to be like, can I keep this costume?
Right. What's the souvenir that you have kept from a gig or a show, even stage or anything like that? Do you have any little things? Do you have anything from somebody somewhere?
I mean, I have so much merch from somebody somewhere because Bridget loves making merch. So every season she would give everybody like sweatshirts and hoodies and hats that said somebody somewhere. And then I wear them out and people are like, oh, wearing your little show, huh?
Yeah. Get used to it.
Yeah, do you think we wouldn't remember from your show or something? And I'm always like, I don't know, it's just only a hoodie I have.
That reminds me of a very funny story, and I'm going to get it wrong. My roommate told me this once. There was a girl that was Miss America, and she was part of a group of college friends, and this was a few years after her reign, and they were reminiscing about something they had done together, some show or something, and you were there, but I don't remember you being there. And she was like, that was the year I was Miss America, remember? So that's like I was on that show. Like, you just might need to, sometimes you have to hammer it home. You have to hammer it home. That's all I'm saying. But you loved doing American Horror Story. That was cool.
Yeah. And there was this one scene where I had to carve up a twink.
Yeah.
And it was so gross, but also the most Hollywood thing I'd ever been a part of.
Yeah, because of the set and the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. And they made this whole, it was on a sound stage in a room that was real on Fire Island, but they had recreated on this soundstage. I guess they don't want to, stain the carpet. And and I'm cutting up this twink, and they had this body that looks exactly like the actor who played the twink's body, and it was wild. It was wild.
Right, but also the blood and stuff. Did it get a little freaky? Did it ever feel like,
yes,
this is
because they had
freaky
tubes underneath it, and so you would cut it, and the blood would come out, and it looked like a real body. It was very freaky, but also I never get to play anything like that.
No, but
it was
what
so
a different
fun.
kind of part for you. Yes, what a cool thing. I love that. Let's tell people how they can get the book, and then I have a few more questions for you. But it's Actress of a Certain Age. It's everywhere, right? Everywhere fine books are sold. I love
Everywhere fine books are sold, yes.
Right? You can get it online. When people come to autographs, do you have something specific that you sign, or does it depend on the person?
Oh, I try and do something different for every person. Yeah.
Right on. I like it.
Make it personal.
I like it.
But then sometimes I'll be like, do you want me to say anything?
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I never expect them to actually say something, but I want them to say something that's interesting that I can comment on in the book.
Yeah.
But there are sometimes people are like, whatever.
Right. Whatever you want. There were a couple of pieces I highlighted that I wanted to share and get your thoughts on. I think this is so, it's very straightforward what you write, but I resonate so much. For the first 20 years of my acting career, I would look at my friends who were successful performers and think, why them and not me? I'm just as talented as they are. Now I am having a tiny bit of success. I look at my friends who are incredible performers but are having trouble making ends meet, and I think, why me and not them? They're just as talented as I am. Like, that is the conundrum, right? Like, you have to live in that.
Yeah. And that's why we go into woo-woo stuff, too.
Yeah, you go into woo-woo stuff.
You need to make some sort of sense of it.
Yeah. You have to make some kind of sense of it. The woo-woo stuff has really helped me. I mean, kind of saved my skin, and it still is, because this is a trying little period that we're all living through. So there's that. You picked a couple of questions from the observation deck.
Yes.
One of them is, what movie have you seen the most times?
Soap Dish.
Soap Dish. You love it. Sally Field, she goes to the mall to get recognized. What do you love about it?
It's campy. It's funny. It's tight. Now, the ending is not trans-friendly, so I usually stop it somewhere in the beginning. But all of these great comedic actors having so much fun and just joke. And also, like, ridiculous wigs and, turbans, and Kathy and Jimmy putting weird costumes on Sally Field. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. I get it. Okay, and here's the other question you picked. What's the worst costume you've ever had to wear for work?
I was in a movie called Ghost Town where I played naked ghost. And so my costume was just a it was a dance belt. It was a brown dance belt.
I saw there's a picture of it in the book, right? And you write about it in the book, and you're on the streets of New York, right?
In a dance belt.
It's not like you're on a private soundstage.
No.
And you're with Téa Leoni. And
Ricky Gervais.
And she was not that nice to you.
Well, she was being funny. She was being funny.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, I think I should say that, not you.
Yeah, exactly. She says, you have to read the book to see what she says. It's something that's like, it's not full on awful, but it wasn't a warm and fuzzy thing. But
no, and I have to say, like, of the people, I have had actors be really, really mean to me. I would never put them in the book. She was being funny.
She was cool. She was being funny.
Yeah.
I also think that after doing a lot of these roles, like waiter and flight attendant, when you were on somebody somewhere and somebody comes in and they have one day, you probably make it a point to, like, make them feel good.
To the point where they were like, you can stop talking to me. Yes.
Yeah,
I was so...
Maybe I don't want to sit at the star table with you. Maybe I want to sit over here with my phone and just, no.
Yes. Sometimes they were like, okay, bye. Because also a lot of times it was like, these were actors who had never seen the show, had no idea what the show was about or whatever. So it wasn't like a famous person was talking to them. It was like, this fucking guy will not shut up. But I just wanted everyone to feel welcome.
Right. Well, you know what it feels like to be on the other side. You know what it is like to do that. What's the dream gig? Is there something you would, is there something, I know you've written your own shows and things like that. Is there?
I guess that's the dream gig. Yeah. I'm pitching things and trying to create something where I get to act in things that I've written.
I love that.
I like to write too.
Yeah. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's other things I wanted to ask you about. I'm a big fan of Mark Duplass. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Because he fucking makes shit. He makes stuff, and he inspires independent people to, like, figure it out and do it and not wait around for other people to do it. Did you spend much time with him? He was one of the producers of Somebody Somewhere. Was he around much?
Well, the Duplass brothers produced, and he came in and stuff, but Jay Duplass, his brother, was the director of several episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm
a fan. Yeah. I'm a fan of his as well. Like, yeah, I think they're cool, and they make things happen. Do you have a favorite episode of Somebody Somewhere?
Maybe in season 1, the tornado episode where you end up in
the
monologue with the dog, and and you see the sisters bonding in the barn, and then we discover the affair. It's like all of the things at once
coming together. And you have to do a big monologue in that, and you write about like not having any time, and they were losing light, and they had to change, but it was kind of like go.
Yeah, because it was a tornado episode, and there was an actual tornado coming.
Wow! All right. Talk about immersive.
Yeah, save some money on the special effects budget.
Yeah. Jeff, this has been really fun. I'm really inspired by your story. I love the way you write about it in the book, and that thing that Bridget says a lot about dreams don't have deadlines and stuff like that. I think about that a lot. Here's my final question. What moved you about Joel when you were playing Joel? What moved you about him?
I think because I'm gay and I look like this, I always played the bitchy gay.
Yeah.
And like the mean, dismissive gay.
Yeah.
And I'll play that again, and I'm happy to play that again. But there was something about playing someone who was kind that was beautiful and healing. And I loved that about him.
I love that. That's so moving. It's lovely. I love that. Did you take some of that with you? Do you feel sometimes like, oh, I still got a little Joel in me in a way? Or what would Joel do in this situation?
Yeah, totally. And I miss him. I miss playing him.
Yeah. Well, we loved seeing him, and I'll be watching at the Emmys. I hope you make a great face if you win, and if you lose, that one of those great faces. And I hope you enjoy every moment of it. This has been a real pleasure. All right.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Excellent. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks again to Jeff Hiller. So glad we got to do that interview. Pick up his book, Actress of a Certain Age, and watch for him on the Emmys. We're going to be rooting for you, Jeff. All right, so this happened. A few things happened that are little updates on previous things that happened. So I am launching a new game, a new party game with my friend Jeb Havens. We created You Don't Know My Life. And we have a new game that we're launching, but we need pre-orders to pay for the printing for the first run. It's called Search Party, and it's really fun. It's just a deck of cards that you use with your phone, and you try to search for fun things, Google Images or some kind of image, to delight your friends. And the person that picks the most fun image is the winner of that particular round. It's really fun. It's very basic and very simple. And you can learn about it at youdon'tknowmylife.com/search party. And I would love it if you pre-ordered the game and help us get to our magic number so we can pull the trigger and print those games and have them in everybody's hands by the holidays. The other thing is I had an eye doctor appointment, and I may be getting glaucoma surgery because my eyes have always been really bad, but they're getting worse. And I went to my Target optometrist, who I really like at Target, after we just trashed Target on this episode. But I feel like the optical department is different. Anyway, she was like, I'm not going to prescribe you new contacts. I'm going to see if you need to explore getting glaucoma surgery. So I'm wearing my contacts for 4 weeks so they can do a measurement. Or I'm wearing my glasses for 4 weeks, no contacts. And then they're going to go 2 more weeks, and then they will determine. And I hope it happens, because I don't know my health insurance situation for next year. I'm a little worried. And I notice when I go to shows or like dance class, I've been to dance classes wearing my contacts, and I'm like, are they in the wrong eyes? I can't really see well. And one of my eyes has gotten dramatically worse in the last couple of years. And when I go to big shows, I struggle to see. So last night I saw Some Like It Hot at the at the Pantages in LA. They have a gay night for $39, which the Pantages is never that affordable. And so they're doing it again for Shucked. So I'm going to try to go back to Shucked if I can swing the money. But I enjoyed the show Some Like It Hot, but I do struggle to see the faces in these big shows. And Sunday night, this past Sunday, I got to go to Jesus Christ Superstar. My friend Danny bought tickets way back when it was first announced, and it was the hottest ticket in LA. Everybody's been talking about it. I had never seen that show before. I knew a few of the songs, but I never seen it. And I feel like people enjoyed it in conversations with other versions that they saw. Like, oh, I've never seen anyone do it like this or whatever. And so Cynthia Erivo and Adam Lambert incredible vocal. You just can't believe the vocals. And from the start, like they're blowing it out from the beginning. And Philippa Sue, who I love, plays Mary Magdalene and her sweetness. And but I struggled to see like the dramatic performances on their faces and the choreography. We were pretty high up, but there's video screens. But the vision is a real thing. So I'm glad so many people posted about it online because I was able to see more detail than I saw when I was there. But I was so glad that I was a part of it. It felt iconic, the two of them doing Jesus Christ Superstar together. So yeah, happy that I was able to go to that. And hopefully I'd love to get this surgery and be able to see much better and go to shows without worrying about like I can't see the actors. Yeah, it's wild. So anyway, that's enough for this week. I want to get a plug in for the Mismatch game. It's coming up at the Gay and Lesbian Center on August 23rd. It's our Future Shock edition. We're pretending it's 2029 and a certain somebody is no longer president. So that's the premise. And it is science fiction, clearly. But it's going to be very fun. And you can learn about that if you go to my Instagram. There's a link tree in the bio, and there's one of the links there. Or you can go to lalgbtcenter.org and then go under shows and find the Mismatch game. It's going to be very fun. All right, that's enough for this week. Thank you so much for listening. I want to give a shout out to Oscar Rosario for mixing the episodes. My theme music is by Mark Daniels for Placement Music. We'll catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye.